to another episode of the Leverage Report. Really excited to be joined again with Ed Bell, talking all things Camp Lejeune, especially since, Ed, we're down to the 11th hour of the deadline. I appreciate you taking a few minutes to connect with me today.
Glad to be here, Susan.
Well, Ed, I know we connected. It's been about a month or so ago talking about Camp Lejeune, and now that we're nearing the deadline, just wanted to reconnect and see if there was any updates or changes or anything that plaintiff attorneys need to be aware about.
Well, the deadline is here, and they need to make sure their cases are filed. We're getting a horde of calls from people that don't understand how to file a case or things like that. We're trying to help walk people through it to give them some help. So if you have any problems, call us. Secondly, if your office system doesn't allow you to attach to the portal without some help, you can still file your cases in paper form. So that's something that can be done. Actually, the statute only requires you could actually send a letter, and that's all that's required. So you can send a letter. There are 5 things that are required to be in that notice. Once you've done that, I would certainly, of course, send it FedEx or something so you get a receipt for where that they got it. But time is not helpful right now. You better get going.
Well, speaking of that, Ed, I've had people ask me, is the deadline the 9th or the 10th? So can you set us straight and tell us what day is the deadline?
Well, if I were writing a law review article, I would say that it clearly is the 9th, because the anniversary of something that happens is usually the first day of the next year. So the 9th is technically the deadline, but even the government made its mistake and they put out a notice that the 10th was the deadline. So I don't think anyone could get in trouble if they use the 10th, but I would certainly be cautious and try to use the 9th.
Mm-hmm. And Ed, the majority of our audience and our listeners are mass tort or personal injury attorneys, but there's some plaintiffs out there that potentially are listening. Any feedback for them as it relates to any injuries, if they've had any recent diagnosis? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. The statute is very clear. You had to have had your illness, if you will, prior to the passage of the Act, August of 2022. But if you get diagnosed after that date and you can show that you've had that cancer, let's say for 4 or 5 years, then you would qualify to file your claim at a later date. So that's a small group of people that would affect, but generally most people need to file their claim before August 9th or 10th.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any other tidbits, or you mentioned that you've gotten a lot of calls. What do you think kind of the high level, the top reasons why people are reaching out to you?
A lot of people have the procrastination syndrome, and they wait to the last minute, and then they realize it may be a little more difficult or more problematic for a lot of us, like me. I'm not as technologically oriented as some. Our office is very much up to speed, but I'm not the one to answer those technical questions. But I think I've heard of a couple of firms that have large case dockets that have waited to the last minute. They're scurrying to get it done. But generally, I think it'll all get done in time, and I think it'll be fine. The government has had a lot of problems with their portal. It has not been a success at all. And so we help the government start off with some of the testing, and have been able to conform our system. And so we are able to work the portal real easily. But those people that don't have the in-house capability of writing software and actually fixing the portal from our end, they're having trouble. They can't verify whether a claim has been filed, things like that. So it hasn't been a smooth transition from the old way of filing a claim by the mail into this electronic portal.
Well, Ed, I really appreciate you taking time. Is there anything else, any other updates or insights or tidbits or feedback that you would give either attorneys or plaintiffs? I know you've been gracious and said if you have any problems to give your team a call.
No, we're glad to help. Anybody who needs to get a little encouragement or anything or needs some advice, please give us a ring. Glad to do it.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks, Ed. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.